Hello my loves, I've just sat here for about probably even 10 minutes just kind of thinking about what was I going to say, what was this vlog going to be about, and the only thing that I can assure you is that I feel compelled to do this today. So let's just lay some cards on the table first. I am not a royalist. And royalty, in many ways, is a kind of glaring example of the things that I, as a bleeding heart liberal, socialist, human, I'm completely against. Wealth and privilege and all of that stuff. Let me lay those cards on the table first. And I've always thought that. However, just look back in history about how all nations all over the world have had some kind of top figure. Kings and queens have been a part of history. As far as we're aware of history, there have been kings and queens. In the insect world, there are queens and their many subjects. It's an earth thing. And so, even though there is a lot of me, huge parts of me, that cannot accept royalty as, oh, I'm fine and great with this, do you know what I mean? Although there are huge parts of me like that, there's also a part of me that is a 53-year-old gay man, citizen of Britain, lived here all my life. And so it's been a constant. This is the royal family have always been there. The Queen has been the only head of state I have ever known. And yesterday, when she died, I did feel a sense of loss, randomly, because the Queen of my country had died. And like I say, I'm no huge fan of the royals, but in recent years, particularly in recent years, the Queen has really impressed me with her humanity, her sense of humour, her accessibility, her willingness to partake in things, some might say not fitting for a queen, which I thought were wonderful, because I love stuff like that. I love stuff that kind of shakes the walls a little bit. You know, I mean, I'm talking about, there are some beautiful little moments that have stuck with me, and that would be the little scene that she did with Paddington Bear for the Jubilee. The scene that she did with James Bond for that was the Olympics, wasn't it, where she jumped out the helicopter, and the little bit that she did with Harry, where they had a phone message from President Obama and Flotus, sorry, Michelle Obama, and you know, these little moments where, yes, she was the Queen of a country and always had to retain her decorum, but she did these things that just kind of made her stand out as a little bit more than just a queen. And I think the most important things to remember are that she was a wife and a mother, and a grandmother and a great-grandmother. And that her strength through much turmoil within her own family, her resilience and her sense of duty that never stopped. I admire that. Those are the things I admire. I admire that this young woman was put into a position and a place of responsibility and duty, that she was put there, and that she, just read some of her quotes, that she basically said, I'm going to paraphrase in my tongue, in my colloquialisms, in my vernacular. She basically said, alright, I've got this position now, and I'm going to give you my all. I'm going to try my best to do this job in the best way I possibly can, and to be what you want from your queen. And my country will always come first. And then she gave 70 years. 70 years of duty as the head of a pretty dysfunctional family. And you know, just the fact that she, let's not forget that when the Queen's husband died, I wasn't a massive fan of him. She attended his funeral on her own because it was during lockdown, whilst Boris and his cronies were partying. She sat on her own. So I suppose I just wanted to mark the moment. I wanted to mark the moment, a huge moment in this country, where I don't know why I'm getting upset. No, I do. I feel no personal sense of loss. I do though. I do though. The only queen, hi sweetheart, of my country that I've ever known has died, and I do and will continue to have a lot of admiration for those aforementioned moments, for the fact that she was dedicated, but she didn't mind filming a little scene with Paddington Bear or James Bond, or you know. And sorry to say this in such a common way, but she worked her ass off for 70 years. Yes, I know it was a place of privilege and wealth, and I am against those things, but this young woman was put into this position. She was born into it, you know, and she was put into it, and she kind of said, okay, if this is my lot, I'm going to give it my all. And I believe that she did that. I believe that Queen Elizabeth II did that, and it's a huge loss for this country. And it's funny, isn't it? Oh yeah, I did want to mention this. Those moments where she did those little things, I think that sent a very important message to people of her age and thereabouts, who were quite stuck in their ways. It kind of said, well, if the Queen can do something like that, you know what I mean? It's I think those kind of lessons are important for an older generation that can get very stuck. I have a lot to say about Charles. I'm going to leave it for another vlog. I'll do a separate vlog. I have a lot to say about the final duty of our Queen before she died, which was to give permission to Liz Truss to form a government. Not entirely happy about that. Wish that hadn't been her final duty. But that's because I've also got a lot to say about Liz Truss, and again I'm going to leave that for another video, and I'm going to keep this one as a tribute to a girl and a woman and a wife and a mother and a grandmother and a great-grandmother and the Queen of my country, who, after 70 years of dedication to duty, has slipped from this mortal coil. Thankfully, peacefully, we are told, at one of her all-time favourite places, Balmoral. I wish that all people could have that kind of ending. And because some don't, doesn't mean that I wish that this one was any different. I'm glad for her and her family that it was peaceful and somewhere that she loved, and family hopefully were around her before, with her, during. Again, I would wish that for any human being. Not necessarily family. Those you love, that isn't always your family. So yeah, I am a bit emotional about it, to be honest with you. I keep watching snippets of the news and stuff, and seeing these moments that I remember making me smile and made me think, oh, nice one, Liz, that's a great thing you've done. That's fun and silly and accessible and down to earth. Yeah, in many ways, they were down to earth moments. There was a moment as well that I saw on a Guardian snippet this morning where she'd gone to I don't know whether it was the installation of Justin Trudeau as, it's called Prime Minister in Canada, isn't it? And they were at this function, and he kind of said, you know, the Queen has, I am the 13th Prime Minister that the Queen has not inducted, but you know what I mean, installed or approved into Canada. And the Queen stood up and said, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Justin Trudeau, for making me feel so old. Again, just a little moment. I think those moments, I think that was the real Elizabeth. That was Liz. That was pure Liz. That was Liz. That was who she was. And the pomp and farce was something she did out of duty. Anyway, I'm going to end it there. This just felt like something I should do, and I'm glad that I have, to be honest. So yeah, as you know, I think I've said it all, haven't I? I don't need to keep going over the same things. It's I'm no fan of wealth and privilege, but I am very British, as it, you know, because it's all I know. And this is a huge loss. This is a massive moment, for not just for this country but around the world. The Queen is dead, and I'm sure many of us never thought that we would see that, you know. My mum, who's 80, has seen all of it from her coronation until her death. You know, Mum would have been 10 when the Queen was what do they call it? Crowned. So, Mum was upset yesterday, you know, and I'm sure a lot of old people will be, because she's been their staple, their security, their icon. And I'm sure that the family, you know, are devastated, because you know, even before Philip died, she was the backbone of the family, and I'm sure that they're all feeling an incredible loss right now, much like most of the country is. Anyway, sorry about the false ending. I realised I did one. I'll leave this one there, and I will just say thank you, Mum, for your service to this country. I don't have the luxury of believing in heaven, so I think when a person is gone, all that remains of them is their legacy, the legacy you leave. And I like to think that in spite of everything, at least for the last decade, perhaps a little more, those little moments with the Queen, those little real moments, showed the world that there could be a different side to a royal family. So yeah, I appreciate that. And watch out for the upcoming vlogs on King Charles III. And a political rant, no doubt, about Liz Truss and the legacy she brings into this position. But we'll leave this one as a tribute to Queen Elizabeth II, who reigned in this country for 70 years and showed her real side just enough for me to notice, acknowledge and be grateful for. Rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth. And because we never know when it's going to be our time, none of us, please be excellent to yourself and each other. Bye, loves.